Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
Look around, come to me. I have no answers but know where I wanna be. I look around, play a part. I was born in the winter and cooled by a warm heart. And I love you best. You're not like the rest. You're there when I need you, you're there when I need. I'm gonna need you. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and you know, like Einstein over here, man, we have no special talents. We're just passionately curious. Of course, living a month and a day, passionately curious about all this crap of the Trump assassination attempt. How in the hell did we get here, and where is it that we want to go? Did we develop that last episode adequately enough? I sure hope so, man, but you know more info is pouring in, so we're going to call him the BlackRock Kid, because we know BlackRock stands to win big in Ukraine should the U.S. prevail. Make no doubt about it, the United States is at war with Russia, just on Ukrainian soil that it wants for BlackRock and for its constituency over here. So we're going to call Thomas Matthew Crooks the BlackRock Kid. And tell you what, a couple of nights ago I had the video that he was in the commercial that he was an actor in for BlackRock. Right now I can no longer find it. It has been taken down. People have called on. But I will find it again. I have lots of sources out here, and we are both actively searching at this time, and we will enlist the help of others. But I'm going to tell you more about good old Thomas Matthew Crooks. Of course, another three-named name would-be assassin. Did you know that police had spotted him? Law enforcement, don't know exactly which agency, had spotted him 26 minutes and called in his information previous to the shooting of President Trump. They had spotted him. They thought they needed to know more information about him. 26 minutes, reports are now saying, previous to him firing upon President Trump. And of course, as the other episode alluded, he then went into the available 3-building and parking lot complex where he was supposed to carry his ladder in, unimpeded by law enforcement, set up atop his perch that, according to Dallas Alexander, and who was Dallas Alexander? One of the most badass snipers ever. He was part of Joint Task Force 2 in Iraq and Afghanistan for the Canadian military. He is cool as the other side of the pillow. Check out the interview he did on SRS or the Sean Ryan Show, another great show. Love the dude. Since he exited the military, he's actually become a country western singer. But you know what? He's got a smooth voice. He looks cool as all get out. And up until supposedly the shot was bettered somewhere in Ukraine in 2023, that I have not confirmed. But if true, it would have bested the shot that Dallas Alexander at that time held the world record for in combat of killing. I think it was actually in Afghanistan, if I'm not mistaken, and actually killed 2 Taliban at the same time from 2.3 miles away. That is some serious shooting. But Dallas Alexander basically said, yes, he had help. And even a 7th grader would have known to look at where he was placed. It was all coordinated. So you have another expert sniper who said it simply did not go down that way unless it was set up to do so. It is all so too obvious. And isn't that what we talked about in the last episode, man? In the meantime, though, you can't stop him, man. You cannot stop President Trump. He's at the RNC right now. He's already announced his candidate, who will be your next vice president, J.D. Vance, and a badass choice at that. So full of stamina, full of vigor, full of life, I would say even more emboldening to do right by the American people. President Trump is standing tall and representing. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's staggering around. They're still discussing his replacement. You know who I'm going to tell you his replacement is? Joe Biden's replacement has been announced. You know who it is? Donald J. Trump. All we used to hear is that Trump covered up this. He's covering up that. No, he was exposing what needed to be brought into the light from you filth and you scum. I mean, Hillary Clinton destroys phones with hammers, remember? And wiped her email server. Lois Lerner lost 24,000 emails. Robert Mueller and his team accidentally wiped 31 phones before an investigation. And these are the same people constantly accusing Trump of a cover-up? Well, now we're going to get to the bottom of this assassination cover-up. And we're not going to rest. We're further emboldened by President Trump, and we are further emboldened by his vitality. And just like he not just murmured, but yelled to the crowd as he arose, we will fight and fight. And just like I said and have discussed on myriads of episodes, all the connections, all the debauchery in Ukraine. Trump became one of our most loved presidents with Ukraine front and center. That's why they decapitated Flynn. Did everything they could to render him, ineffectual, not because of a cover-up, but for an expose of what needs to become and brought into the light. And now it is going to come full circle and end in Ukraine, because when he gets elected again in November, he will put a stop to that illegal war that is bankrupting us and is suppressing our freedoms here at home. Let's go through a few facts, because we can send hundreds of billions over to Ukraine. We can say Israel. We can say to those 800 bases that I've talked about. We can talk about hiring the kids to fight in Syria. We can talk about all our wherewithal and trying to go into the South China Sea and protect Taiwan and all that bullshit. But let's just take California. Let's go through a few facts in California alone under wonderful Newsom and Biden. And I have devout listeners in California. Did you know almost 50% of all the food stamps in California are given to illegals? Did you know that 95% of all the warrants issued for murder in LA are for illegals? Did you know that less than 2% of illegals are now picking crops in California, but 41% of them are on welfare? Did you know that 66% of all births in California are to illegals on Medi-Cal? All right, let's expand our scope. 60% of all HUD-occupied properties in the U.S. now. What is that? Housing and urban development, supposedly for low-income Americans? Nope, 60% of it now in America are all illegal tenants. 40% of all students in California are illegal. All right, who's paying for that? 75% of LA's most wanted criminals, period, not just murder, are illegals. 50% of all gangbangers are illegals. But we're fighting an illegal war in Ukraine, and we're also footing the bill. U.S. taxpayers are paying for all of this. So let me catch my breath, and let's pause for station identification. OldCountrySoap.com, my show's sponsor. Elon, their owner, right there in Burbank, South Dakota, making the finest handcrafted artisan soap in the world because of the quality and its cost effectiveness. You can do away with other products, i.e. shampoo. It's wonderful for skin. The bentonite clay draws out impurities. It has a coconut oil base. Your skin will feel supple and smooth. It comes in a variety of different colors. You can order it in a variety of different sizes. It comes with its own sisal fiber bag, to work as an agitator for the soap and to save it from diminishing in size during its use. Use my promo code, CHAOS20. Old is spelled OLDE, oldcountrysoap.com. And did you notice back in the day when Antifa and BLM and every damn organization that the Democrats applauded? I mean, they would riot, they would burn, they would kill, they would maim, they would destroy. They would create total anarchy no matter where they were, but they were championed as liberators and freedom fighters. Really, all they liberated was death and destruction upon the communities where they entered. But they were championed. The Democrats loved them. Have you noticed even when Trump was indicted? Did you see any of that? Now the man has been an attempted assassination on his life. He just went right back to business representing the American people. He's there tonight. We don't know what Biden's doing. We've been told he goes to bed at 8 o'clock every night. But has MAGA marched? Has MAGA rioted? Have they set fires or called for violence? Now, I know some of them have prayed. I know some of them have cried. But most of them just promised to vote for Trump and to get others to do so. There is a difference between us, people. There is a difference. And I'm going to tell you, we need a Savior for our souls and to conduct our way of life, and that's Jesus Christ. But we also need a Savior for this country. And he may have, in fact, saved President Trump for that very outcome. And President Trump is the one who can right this ship. And finally, as we begin to conclude, let me just say this. If you have watched the footage like I have, many of you have viewed it, rewatched it, studied it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm not disappointed in their performance, which I espoused in the other episode, which is true. But that is an expectation because they were placed in a position whereby they should not be. Get rid of all the ladies on Trump's Secret Service detail. This country does not need more women trying to be men. We have already talked about the fact that their diminutive stature precludes them from adequate protection. Unless, of course, you want to get that size 14 Adidas sneaker, Michelle, get her out of the running for Joe's spot and put her in the Secret Service. Maybe. Other than that, give them an admin job. You don't want to hear that? That's one of the big things wrong with this country and the world today. Women have a role, and it is not protecting the president. If you watch the footage, they look jittery. They looked unsure. Hell, one of them kept trying to holster her damn pistol, but kept missing the holster. Eventually just putting it to her side because it was easier for her. Now, these weren't svelte women, per se. They looked a little pudgy to me, which brings into further question of maybe oxygen capacity, stamina. Men are just physically superior. Who do you want jumping on top of the president and shielding him? A bigger man or a diminutive, pudgy lady? If they are so well versed, when you were talking about the pinnacle of protectionary detail, meaning the apex, that being the direct team responsible in the Secret Service for President Trump's protection. All right, ladies, if you're that good, then go be offensive effing linemen in the NFL. They're pinnacle. You don't have what it takes. This isn't misogynist. It's just simple biology. Now, I'll tell you this. Women who are pissed can wreak some hell on someone. I'm living proof of that. But they are also excellent marksmen. Markswomen, is that better for you? They're excellent shots from a distance. Take them out of the immediate harm's way. Let their strengths prevail. Put them under cover. People wanting to do malfeasance typically will assume that they are not in that role. Put them in crowds. Let them tip the actual protectors off. Let them work in conjunction. But they have no business being right there. And that is a big problem with America today. We're putting women in men's roles. They have a defining role. Stop mixing it up. And I'll tell you another thing, since I'm on that note, and it will be men that take this country back again, supported by women. And I find it real interesting. Old Crooks was a registered Republican. Oh, yeah, he's been involved in left-leaning activities. According to friends of his, he was very left-leaning. We know his parents are left-leaning. I don't know their actual voting records, but I am assuming at this point that they are Democratic. It was all done in the name of democracy. Well, let's just have a quick little troll through history, shall we? The purported assassin, another three named would-be assassin, but that one actually completed the job, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat. Lee Harvey Oswald, same thing, three names in one. Another supposed Democrat. MLK, supposedly killed by a Democrat. Who created the KKK? Democrats. Who brought on segregation? Democrats. Who created Jim Crow? Democrats. Back in the day of World War II, who authorized the internment camps? And probably who has them in secret now today, right? Democrats. Who began the uprising of the Confederacy, whether you support the South or you don't support the South? The political affiliation doesn't change. Democrats. But who's called racist? Republicans. Guys, this is some asinine stuff. So let's just end with this. In this great nation that we want to make great again, right? Make America great again. The peaceful MAGA movement that just wants to put a man in office. We hear it oftentimes. We are a nation of immigrants. And I just went through what immigrants are doing in California alone. We're a nation of immigrants. That's true. But we are a nation of legal immigrants. And I am going to tell you that none of our descendants came from illegal immigrants. Remember that. The way this nation was built was from the original immigrants, and we descended from legal immigration. None of us are descendants of the illegal immigrant hordes that are coming into our nation now and have been for some time. So let your mind twist around that just like mine is in free-flowing thought right now. So until next time on the Comfortable with Chaos podcast, I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.